How you guys doing?
Oh, great, man. Hey, Dennis, can we start off? Can you just kind of say what you've noticed about this Colts rushing attack here?
Yeah, look, I think it's really good. They've run the ball really effectively. They stick with the run game. They continue to do it throughout the game. I think they're really good up front. I think they do a really good job of blocking. Obviously, I think the scheme is good. Similar to what we saw in the last few years in Philadelphia. I think really when you look at it, I think both, Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor have been running the ball extremely well. Both have really good vision. Both have explosive ability. Both run, tough and violent. So it's a tough run game to have to deal with.
And then, are you able to say anything about what happened with Chris Olave on Monday, and kind of how y'all are handling that?
Yeah, look, I mean, he was arrested for speeding and call it reckless driving. I think that's something that we've had a chance to sit down and visit with him. He obviously understands that he made a mistake, and he's got to slow down. But that's really what it was. So we're not going to make any more of it than that, other than look, for his sake and for everybody's sake, we want him to be safe and keep himself and others safe, and so he's just got to slow down.
Yeah, it looked like Taysom was getting some just kind of reps with the quarterback. Obviously, that's how he's listed on the roster. Just kind of, is that anything different, or is that something you guys kind of incorporate, every week in some capacity?
In terms of what?
It's just the red jersey being with the quarterbacks. It just is that something that you guys kind of do every week, or is that different?
No, look, Taysom's got a little bit of a chest deal, so we just wanted to make sure he stayed away from contact during practice.
And Alvin not being in practice, is that anything?
He's out due to an illness.
Hey, Dennis, obviously you guys can't go 2-minute offense the entire way, but it seemed like you guys had something going with that in the second half last week. What is it about that kind of jump-started you guys, do you think?
Well, look, I can't specifically pinpoint as to what, got it jump-started. I think we just, we got out there and executed. I thought Derek did a good job at the line of scrimmage, getting us in a lot of good plays. And if we can get into, good plays versus good looks, with good players, we can have great execution, and I thought that's what we were able to do there. So, I think that's something that, we'll look at it as we go along, but it could be something that we may try to incorporate. But, again, you're not going to live the game in a 2-minute offense. I think people have tried to kind of work that up tempo in our league, and works for a little while, and then it loses its effectiveness. So I think we've got to be able to, have differing tempos that we're going to use throughout the game. And so, I thought, but it was good to see that our offense executed in that type of situation.
So is that like a thing where you just kind of pick and choose your spots with that, or do you take some concepts from what you do in a tempo offense and kind of incorporate it more broadly?
Probably a little bit of both. I just think that's something that you can do as a change of pace, but I don't anticipate that being our game plan as we go forward, and we're just going to be a no huddle offense all the time. So, but we'll see. We'll have a good plan for Sunday.
This team has seen Minshew a couple of times in the past, been effective against him. But what are some of the things that he does well and has brought to that offense this year?
Yeah, I think he plays with a swagger. I think he's got tremendous confidence. I think he's got good mobility to get himself out of difficult situations. He generally throws the ball with good timing and accuracy, and I think he I think more than anything else, I just think he's got some moxie about him, and you can see that his team believes in him, and they play at a high emotional level when he's in a game.
Dennis, you mentioned Monday you guys might look to incorporate different things like how you meet, working after practice. Was there anything added to sort of the practice routine that was different this week? As far as
look, we're going to, like in terms of what we do inside the building, we're really going to kind of keep that to ourselves. There were some things that we, tried to incorporate a little bit, but yeah, we'll kind of keep those in-house.
And then I guess just in general, do you think any conversations had with quarterback, receivers, getting them on the same page have been productive since you've gotten them back this week?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of good conversations, but at the end of the day, like I told the team today, it's time for us to do it. So we got to go out and do it on Sundays.
Dennis, any discussion with Derek Carr about being overly demonstrative with receivers as far as not running the correct route? And in your opinion, why does that continue to happen, Coach?
Well, look, we talked a lot about a lot of different things with a lot of different people. Again, I'm going to keep what those discussions exactly were about in-house, but we addressed a lot of issues over the last 3 days. So, hopefully we've got some of those things corrected.
Coach, I know, not to belabor the point, but I know there's a lot of TV cameras at these games. Do you think it's a bad look, or do you care about that?
Yeah, I think we've discussed it, and we're moving forward from it.
Hey Dennis, I just want to circle back real quickly to Jonathan Taylor. He really wasn't much of a factor until this season, maybe until last week a little bit, 4.2 yards a carry. What do you think changed last week, and what's your sense of where he's at this point in the season, what you'll have to deal with him specifically?
Well, look, certainly I'm not in that building, so I can't tell you exactly what's, changed. I can only assume that, he missed a lot of training camp. And so I think there was probably a little bit of trying to work him back into the fold a little bit. So we got a lot of respect for him as a runner, as a receiver, what he can do with the ball in his hands. He's one of the best running backs in our league, and I think you're seeing some of those signs of what he can do last week.
Dennis, having DeMario out, was that just being a case of being a little bit more cautious with his knee injury?
Say it again.
I say not having DeMario out there today, was that just being a little bit more cautious with the knee injury that he's bouncing back?
Yeah, look, he was limited in practice today, so he was out there today, and got some work, and yeah, I think it's probably going to be something that will limit him a little bit as the weeks go on, and hopefully, as he begins to get a little bit better and better and better every single day, that he'll start working a lot more into it. But he's also a guy that, as a veteran guy that's had a ton of reps in this system, it's not the worst thing for him to get a little time down.
And in the same breath, just using Zach Bond more in the rush packages, just kind of the confidence you have in him to be able to step in on those third down situations?
Yeah, look, I think that's something that Zach can do. There was a little bit of thought in our mind last week about what that rep count was going to be for DeMario coming off the initial injury. We wanted to limit that a little bit. I thought we were able to do that, and I thought Zach did an effective job in some of our rush package stuff.
All right, thanks,
All
Dennis.
right, guys, thanks.
Thanks, Dennis.